You sure this ain't live? Because I'm tired of pretending LeBron isn't an evil man.
That question was just absolute chaos. When someone asked Kyrie if LeBron was a father figure to him, he didn't hold back. It shattered the carefully crafted image of their partnership, forcing fans to look back at their time in Cleveland through a completely different lens. People aren't just looking at the basketball anymore. They're looking at the ego, the power dynamics, and the hidden tension that defined those years. And if you think this is just random drama, you haven't seen the evidence of how the environment shifted the moment LeBron stepped back into the building. The chemistry wasn't just off. It was being fundamentally rewritten by forces that prioritized brand over the game itself, creating a friction that would eventually become the breaking point for the entire organization's future.
Because that question was crazy. When somebody asked me if LeBron was like a father figure to me, bro, that was crazy, bro. No kizzy. That was a crazy-ass question. He's like a few years older than me.
Some interpreted these latest remarks as proof that the atmosphere in Cleveland felt overly controlled, almost scripted. While others argue it's an exaggeration, the debate has exploded online, with fans revisiting old interviews and press conferences, hunting for clues they missed the first time. They're analyzing bench interactions and awkward post-game segments, trying to connect the dots in a way that suggests Irving was never just a supporting actor in LeBron's story. He was a superstar who arrived as the franchise's golden child long before the king returned to claim his throne. This retroactive analysis shows a clear divide. One side sees a veteran teaching a younger player, while the other sees a deliberate attempt to overshadow a rising star who had already proven he could lead a franchise independently.
It's not like Kyrie wasn't playing at the same level that Bron was playing at in that run.
It wasn't a father-son dynamic. It was two elite competitors forced to navigate a high-pressure system that many believe was designed to favor one person. Fans who support Kyrie are quick to remind everyone that before LeBron came back in 2014, Kyrie was the one carrying the weight of the city, working to build his own identity without relying on someone else's spotlight. He was focused, disciplined, and carving out a path that didn't involve playing second fiddle. The core of this conflict is the clash between two different philosophies of success. LeBron arrived with a pre-built empire of media, marketing, and influence, while Kyrie had spent his formative years in the league learning the hard way, grinding through rebuilding seasons to earn the respect of the city on his own merit.
The whole celebrity idea is eroding. The whole fame idea is eroding. That's sold to us, y'all. You got people out here that are human, that are acting every day of their life. They're not even real.
Before the blockbuster trades, Irving was the franchise's golden star. Fans loved him, teammates respected him, and he was carving out his own path without relying on anyone else's spotlight. He was simply focused on basketball, putting in the work, and building his own identity without getting caught up in constant headlines or outside noise. When the Cavaliers selected him first overall, the excitement was palpable. He wasn't just a prospect, he was the lifeblood of a team that had been starved for talent. His approach was pure. He didn't seek the cameras, he sought the basket. This era of his career is often overlooked, but it was essential in forming the player who would eventually demand his own kingdom, free from the shadow of a returning legend who naturally commanded every single headline.
Kyrie saved his ass because Bron sat his scary ass in a corner and said, "Here, Kyrie, I'm going to go sit on the side. Here, Kyrie, do it for me."
As a rookie, he averaged 18.5 points, 5.4 assists, and 3.7 rebounds per game, while shooting nearly 47% from the field, and almost 40% from three-point range. Those weren't just solid rookie numbers, they looked like the stats of a future superstar on the rise. It didn't take long for the league to recognize it either. Irving won the 2012 NBA Rookie of the Year award in dominant fashion, receiving 117 of 120 first-place votes. That kind of support showed just how highly people around the league viewed his potential. This was the foundation of the Bentley engine his father spoke of, a raw, high-performance talent that didn't need a veteran to tell him how to drive. He was already operating at a level that surpassed most veterans in the league, establishing himself as a force that couldn't be ignored.
Circumstances or...
Don't none of us get a pass tonight. Not just Kyrie.
By 2014, nobody was talking about him as a rookie anymore. He was becoming one of the faces of the franchise. His 2014 All-Star appearance was well-deserved, Irving exploded for 31 points and 14 assists in the game, earning All-Star MVP honors and putting the entire league on notice. Throughout those early years, he built a reputation as someone focused on his craft. Rather than chasing attention or getting pulled into non-stop drama, he stayed locked in on basketball, letting his performances do the talking and steadily building his name through hard work and results. He was at the pinnacle of his growth, having navigated the pressures of being the top draft pick and emerging as a player who could dictate the pace of any game, setting the stage for what he thought would be his long-term career.
I had no idea, man. I found out that Bron was coming back like the rest of you guys. Rest of you guys in the world. I had no inclination. I had no time to prepare. It's not that it was on my bingo card like, hey, I'm going to spend my career playing with Bron. Like, I had no idea, guys.
Then came the summer of 2014, and everything changed overnight. LeBron James announced his return to Cleveland after 4 seasons away, instantly creating one of the biggest stories in sports. The news dominated headlines, social media exploded, and the spotlight immediately swung toward the returning superstar. From that moment on, the conversation around the Cavaliers looked completely different. Many fans felt the organization entered a brand new chapter, one centered around championship expectations and major roster decisions. The team Irving had helped lead through its rebuilding years was now stepping into a new era, and the balance of attention and influence around the franchise was about to change in a huge way. It was a massive transition that fundamentally altered the team's internal hierarchy and expectations.
Every time you play with Bron, it's going to be a lot of media attention. It's going to be a lot of back and forth of narratives. It's going to be about a lot of spun narratives. It's going to be a lot of
The team was now connected to a much larger world of celebrity culture, major media coverage, and high-profile events. Suddenly, famous entertainers, business figures, and public personalities were frequently linked to the Cavaliers' orbit, creating a very different atmosphere from the one that existed just a few years earlier. For someone like Irving, who had built a reputation as a private and focused player, that environment may have felt like a major change. It wasn't just about the basketball anymore. It was about the spectacle. The locker room was no longer just a place for teammates to prepare. It was a hub for the biggest names in entertainment, which shifted the entire culture of the team away from the quiet grind. It out mentality that Kyrie had initially built his entire professional identity upon. To Irving, the environment may not have felt natural anymore. It appeared he viewed parts of the situation as overly scripted, exhausting, and driven by image rather than authenticity. Years later, fans began revisiting old photos, interviews, and public appearances involving various celebrities connected to the NBA world, trying to understand why Irving seemed uncomfortable with certain aspects of that spotlight. As those discussions spread online, some pointed to the connections between sports stars and public figures as evidence that the league's biggest personalities moved within circles that didn't always prioritize the team's core goals. This wasn't just about winning games. It was about the brand. And for a player who valued his own authentic path, this felt like an encroaching, artificial pressure.
Do you know who was responsible for the killing of Tupac Shakur?
No, I don't. I think that Sean now, in my mature mind, had a lot to do with the death of Tupac.
In January 2016, head coach David Blatt was dismissed, despite the team holding a strong 30-11 record at the time. The move sparked intense debate across the basketball world. Tyronn Lue was promoted to head coach, and many observers viewed the decision as part of the franchise's evolving direction during that championship pursuit. Over the years, discussions about LeBron's influence have followed him from team to team. Whether in Cleveland, Miami, or Los Angeles, fans and analysts have frequently debated his role in major roster decisions. Supporters often see that involvement as the responsibility that comes with being a franchise superstar, while critics argue it can give one player enormous influence over a team's future, often sidelining coaches or management in favor of personal team preferences.
When you're playing with somebody like Bron or somebody that you guys like to compare him to, it's a different animal. It's a different journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're automatically expected to be at the top of the charts, the top of the league.
Beneath the celebrations, highlight reels, and polished media appearances, many observers believed tensions were quietly building, creating cracks that would eventually become impossible to ignore. By the time Irving requested a trade from Cleveland, many people believed it wasn't a sudden decision at all. Instead, it appeared to be the result of years of growing frustration, differing perspectives, and an evolving team dynamic that had become increasingly difficult to navigate. What looked stable from the outside may have been far more complicated behind the scenes. The narrative of a perfect partnership was slowly being eroded by the reality of two alpha competitors trying to exist in the same space, leading to inevitable fractures that were hidden by the success of winning games on the court.
As we go back to Sage Steele in the studio.
Hey, Mark, yeah, game 2 of our doubleheader is underway in Oakland.
Irving reportedly wasn't a fan of having important issues play out through media headlines and public speculation. From the perspective of many observers, he seemed to prefer direct conversations rather than seeing stories and narratives develop through interviews, reports, and endless commentary. That's one reason certain public remarks became such a major talking point. He wanted professional transparency, not a PR game. When he realized that his voice was being drowned out by the sheer volume of LeBron's media presence, the choice to leave became not just a basketball decision, but a personal one. He needed to find a place where he could finally be the author of his own story, free from the scripted drama that he felt had defined his time in Cleveland and overshadowed his contributions.